What's up, Speak For Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak For Yourself.
Welcome to Speak For Yourself. I'm Marcellus Wiley. I don't know who this is right here. Well, I'm amazed you're here. Emmanuel Immaculate. What else are we going to call you? Hopefully, you're still co-host of Speak For Yourself. Acho, how you feeling, big dog?
What's up, man? It's a good day. It's a good transitioning back into sports. I got all my tears out last night on The Bachelor, cried with them, wept with them, and now it's time to joke with my dog.
Let's have some fun and let's talk. Not like Matt last night. All right, anyway, let's get to our top story. Come on, Matt, say something. Brought to you by Popeye's Chicken Sandwich, crying into breaks. All right, Bill Belichick and the Patriots are not playing around with their wallet. Cam Newton is coming back, and they also kicked off the legal tampering period by adding several players, including linebacker Matt Judon, tight ends Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, my dog, and receiver Nelson Aguilar. Patriots are reportedly shelling out $269 million to revamp a franchise that missed the playoffs for the first time in 12 years. That's Acho Bachelor money right there. So, Acho, has Bill Belichick fixed the Patriots?
Sell, not yet. But he hasn't fixed the Patriots because in order to fix something, you got to properly identify what's broken.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't, because I know where you're going.
I'm not going to Cam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to Cam yet. I get to Cam Newton at the 5-minute mark into the show.
Okay.
We only at the minute, 15-second mark. I ain't going to Cam
I'm projecting over here. I'm sorry. All right,
you have to identify what's broken, and what's broken is the lack of explosiveness in the offense.
Okay.
What were they, 30th in yards per game, 27th, I believe, in points per game. Let's identify what's broken and try to fix that. So what have the Patriots done? I respect them making a splash.
Wow.
You spend a lot of money, you make a splash. You walk into the club, you see the dude out there just making it. He making a splash. When you walk into the club, let's go back. It's early in the show. I apologize.
Okay.
Let's go to the club.
Yes.
And they come out with the sparklers.
Oh, that person.
So, you know what I'm saying?
I'll be ducking. Like, don't spell my name in front of everybody.
The bottle dudes, the bottle women. You know, I'm not going to be sexist.
Look at you, bottle dudes. I ain't seen a bottle dude
ever. I haven't seen a bottle man in my life. But it's 2021, and you ain't getting me kicked off this show. So the bottle men and bottle women, they run through the show with the sparklers, and everybody's looking, oh, my God, what's going on there? What's going on there? And then they got sparklers on Fiji water.
That's
what's going on with the Patriots right now. Like, oh, they made us. Who they signed? Who they signed? They signed Kendrick Bourne.
Don't do that.
Wait, who they signed, Sal?
Who they signed? I got you.
They signed Nelson Aguilar. Okay, like they made noise, Sal, but I don't know if it's really going to make a mass impact to fix the Patriots, because what's flawed with the Patriots, I don't think can be fixed by number 2 or number 3 receivers. Nelson Aguilar being a number 2, Bourne in his career really being a number 3.
Okay.
I don't think the Patriots can be fixed, if you will, by signing a few tight ends after spending their 3rd-round picks last year on tight ends. To fix the Patriots, you have to get a number 1 receiver to help elevate Cam Newton's game. That's truly what needs fixing, but I'll get to that on my second one.
Oh, all right. So we're starting off a little light right here. Just a little, feints, a little jabs. Went to the club, somebody balling on the budget. He's like, let me get 19 of them Fijis. Here we go. Boy, has Bill Belichick done one on y'all naysayers, critics out there. He's laughing at y'all. And he told you it was going to happen just this way. If you look at the Patriots, there wasn't that much to fix. It's certainly not as much as was advertised. I remind you, they were a 7-9 team that lost 4 close, 1 possession deep in their opponent's territory games. You do the math, 7-7.
Right.
Okay, that's an 11-5 team almost, but we're that close. Now, I don't play the Fantasy Island game. I don't play the ifs were fifth game, but I understand that Bill Belichick knows just the gap between who he was and what his team was last year and what they can be. So this is a team that went through so much. And everyone said, don't sign back Cam Newton. What was the first thing Bill Belichick did? sign back Cam Newton because he realized that Cam Newton had some positive things going for him. We'll get to Cam Newton later when you want to go to Cam Newton. But let's look at this team in totality. You sneeze at signing tight ends Smith and Henry. I don't know why you're sneezing because those are tight ends in terms of where they're going in impact. That's going to make a difference. Patriots tight ends, last 2 years, dead last in the NFL in receptions, dead last in the NFL in receiving yards, dead last in the NFL receiving touchdowns. Did I say 2 years? Why would I bring up 2 years and Cam's only been there 1? That's part of the reason Tom Brady left this New England's offense and New England as a franchise because he realized, dawg, y'all don't have what I need to work with. If you talk about who Smith is, that's 448 yards, 8 touchdowns last season. Oh, you don't care about 8 touchdowns. If you want to talk about what Hunter Henry is, we're talking about 613 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. Stats, you combine all those guys, you got you a competent tight end, if not more than that. But remember, for this offense to run effectively, they got to use Cam Newton and use Cam Newton to his strengths. That is taking advantage of the tight end. That is taking advantage of their running game. That is taking advantage of Bill Belichick is still going to have a top defense. Last year, 7th in scoring defense. So if you want to play complementary football the way Bill Belichick likes to play it, right now, he's on pace to fixing all those issues.
But the issue, Sel, we have to go back to the focal point of even Bill Belichick and these moves, they make you scratch your head.
How?
Because... Sel, Kendrick Bourne, 49 catches last year, 667 yards. Over the course of Bourne's entire career, 137 catches and I believe 1,700 yards. That's like one of AB's seasons in his prime.
Yeah, that's real.
That's like one.
But there's only one AB, too.
That's one.
There's only one AB.
Okay, that's one of Julio's seasons in his prime.
Okay. It's really only one Julio.
That's an Odell Beckham season when Odell was in it. Like, what are we talking about? I'm talking about 4 seasons, and this dude, it made noise. We said, oh, Bill Belichick, $22.5 million you just paid him? Oh, he got to be nice. 3 years, 22.5? Let me look up what Bourne been doing.
Man, stop.
Third best receiver? Okay, let's talk about this dude.
He was on San Fran.
Let's talk about,
who was the quarterbacks? Wait. Keep going. Second on the team, too. Second on the team in receptions and yards, but you don't want to go there. They went and got somebody with upside potential, and you know it.
What's potential? Potential is just unreached, unearned, or unmaximized ability. Don't do me right there talking about potential. But then I'm looking at it like, Bill Belichick, even in last year's draft, he drafted 2 tight ends in the 3rd round. One ended up buried on the depth chart and one underperformed. So now you messed up and drafted 2 tight ends in your 3rd round last year. So now you got to go sign 2 tight ends this year. I'm not going to sleep on Smith because Smith a dog. I'm really not going to sleep on Hunter Henry.
Thank you.
But Hunter Henry might be sleeping on himself in the training room because he be hurt. He only played a full... I don't think he's ever played a full season, actually. He gave us 14 last year, gave us 12 the year before, gave us none the year before, ACL injury, he was hurt. So I'm just wondering, so as I look at it, has Bill Belichick fixed the Patriots? No, because has anybody here going to elevate Cam Newton? I'm not talking about, are they going to allow Cam Newton to tread water? You always talk about me as treading water with takes, treading water with this, treading water with that. The difference, that's it.
That's
treading water, you just surviving.
Yeah.
Actually swimming, you going somewhere. I don't see any of these players elevating Cam Newton's game.
Oh, really? Hey, let's talk about the elevation of Cam Newton's game before we even talk about how Cam Newton's going to elevate his own game. Let's talk about the fact that Julian Edelman, who missed 10 games last year, is coming back this year healthy.
He's going to be 35, right?
He's not getting younger. He's going to be 35.
He's still running around cars on Beverly Hills?
Jumping on them, too. Not getting in trouble either. Oh, another topic. Here we go. Julian Edelman is coming back. Sometimes you ain't got to draft. Sometimes you ain't got to go to free agency. You got to say, hey, you. Just be available. You be healthy. Julian Edelman's back. Sony Michel had injuries last year. Back. You want to talk about Rex Burkhead? Back. What are you talking about? Those are just weapons from last year. Then we get our opt-outs back. Oh, you forgot about the 8 opt-outs.
But they not broke. The dudes on defense wasn't broke.
Okay, well, hold on. So that doesn't help the offense? I talked about complementary football. See, this is the difference between you and I.
He's going to differences, America.
What's the difference?
I have hair, you don't?
Start one. All right. You started right there. No, seriously. I am into football in a way that my sentences end with a period. Yours end with an exclamation point or their run-on. Ellipsis. I'm like, dog, won't you relax? You are so wowed by wow factor that you don't understand that to be effective in the NFL, you have to master the simple. Tom Brady mastered the simple. Tom Brady wasn't as wild as Peyton Manning. Tom Brady wasn't as wild as Aaron Rodgers. And Tom Brady's like, add up y'all rings, double that, +1, I got y'all. That's what I'm looking at when I'm talking about who was the mastermind of Tom Brady's philosophy. Bill Belichick. All Bill Belichick's saying we're going to do is we're going to run the football. After we run the football, we're going to be able to pass effectively and explosive. After that, we're just going to play our standard defense, which is always top 10. And that's how we win games. We win games because other teams will lose the game themselves.
Fair. I'll give you that.
That's the Bill Belichick way. You're trying to draw up a different architecture for this system. You can't draw it up differently than Bill Belichick, who's the greatest coach of all time.
I like your take. I like your take, but here's the problem. I don't know if simple still trumps wow in this day and age of the NFL.
Well, ask Patrick Mahomes that. Does it?
The Buccaneers wowed in the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers wowed.
They didn't get their own wow versus the Patrick Mahomes.
But they got there on Antonio Brown. That's wow. Rob Gronkowski. That's wow. Leonard Fournette. That's wow. Tom Brady himself is wow. I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to fix themselves. They got better. We know they got better. But
how
by
much?
Fixing a game or two, maybe.
No. How about this much for close games?
No. Because when you're talking about the simple isn't going to be able to trump when you roll in and Josh Allen still has Stephon Diggs, sir. Like, Jonnu Smith, sir, ain't really about to make, these nice 3rd and 8, we got a completion. Yes, you got to move the sticks. You got to move the chains. But the simple cannot trump the wow, not when you have guys like Patrick Mahomes out there, Josh Allen more explosive out there, guys like Lamar Jackson that can strike at lightning speed out there. And then you got to the NFC, and you got Aaron Rodgers in that offense. You got Matthew Stafford, who's now with the Rams. You got Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Yeah, play simple if you want to. But this ain't the 75 and them leather helmets no more, big dog. You got to move with the ages and the trends.
Right now, my DVR is going off in my brain. I remember Acho telling me that Patrick Mahomes has to score more than 30. They will score more than 30 in the Super Bowl because they were the wild team. Everyone thought that they were the favorites, and they went against the master of the simple, Tom Brady. Remember that was 7-5? Remember that Tom Brady?
There was nothing
last year, 7-5
about the Bucs.
Didn't even know what 4th down was? What are you talking about?
Define simple then. Let's define simple.
Define simple is this. We need to start and establish the running game, do play action passing off of it, and it's not going to be every time we line up, we're taking shots. It's like we're going to play efficient football. As you know, as a defender, the hardest thing for an offense to do is to consistently move the chains. Tom Brady loves that. Bruce Arians didn't. Bruce Arians had a wild mindset. True. Tom Brady told him, calm down. After week 12, after the bye week, he said, come here. You're the coach. I'm the player, but I got 6 rings already. Let me tell you how I got them. By just making sure we play complementary football. You took me to places. Let me just diffuse some of these. Josh Allen, you talk about him and Stephon Diggs. That's cute. Where's your running game? Patrick Mahomes, you're talking about, him and the wow factor. Where's your protection? You lose 3 starters, you get 1, and that's not good math. You talk about Lamar Jackson, who I love, who I swear by, but they got some passing game issues. Do not put that and project that onto Bill Belichick in this situation. Now, we've been avoiding it, but the moment is here. Let's talk Cam Newton. Because I wasn't going to let us go this whole block without talking Cam Newton. And how Cam Newton understands the history of the Patriots, the history of Bill Belichick, where no quarterbacks have success under Bill Belichick in year 1. Remember, going back to Vinny Testaverde, go back to Tom Brady. Tom Brady was there a whole entire year, digesting the system before he was out there playing and winning the Super Bowl in year 2. Matt Castle, it took him year 4. Jimmy G, year 3, before he even went out there for 4 games, ended up only being 1.5. I digress. Now you get to Cam Newton. Cam Newton, he didn't get the chance and opportunity that even Tom Brady got, which is to sit, observe, and learn and grow. He was thrown to the fire, hit the ground running, caught COVID. All of a sudden, everything went to, can't curse, did it. I remember looking at Cam Newton in the second half of the season saying, I don't think people are giving him enough credit. Listen to these stats. From week 8 through the end of the season, Cam Newton had 14 total touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. What does that sound like? Does that sound like the same guy that Acho and everyone is saying, throw him out there, throw him to the trash, he's nothing but a bum? Or does that sound like a guy that has started to click? Old Betsy started to turn over. Cam Newton is going to take that momentum into the offseason with continuity, with new weapons, and all of a sudden New England, I guarantee you right now, double-digit wins.
Here is the flaw in the thought process. It's simple. Cam Newton's been in the league since 2011. From 2011 to present day, Cam Newton has 9 seasons of double-digit interceptions. 9 seasons. Every season Cam Newton has played more than 3 games, he has double-digit interceptions. That's terrible. Now, conversely, what are the Patriots used to? What are you submitting the Patriots have become accustomed to?
What?
Tom Brady, 2011 to present day. Tom Brady has 4 seasons with double-digit interceptions. You, Marcellus Wiley, are asking Cam Newton to be someone he's never been. When you're saying has Bill Belichick fixed the Patriots, he hasn't, because the issue at hand is Cam Newton can't be somebody else than Cam Newton. Hey,
he can't improve?
They say this. You might as well be you because you're the best version of you.
You ain't lying
Like,
there.
nobody else can be a better version of Marcellus Wiley than Marcellus Wiley.
That's right.
Cam Newton is who he is. He gets you a lot of touchdowns totally, and he turns the ball over a good amount. But back in the day, he used to get a whole lot more touchdowns and turnovers. Nowadays, he just gets a few more touchdowns and turnovers. So I just don't think that this mindset, this Bill Belichick way of take care of the football, let's own the game, let's play good defense. That's just not who Cam Newton is. Oil and water between coach and quarterback. Couple off-season acquisitions that aren't type A, first team, all-pro type kind of dudes. Not changing that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do this to you because I know you're not a parent just yet, but you keep going to those Thai restaurants late, you're gonna find your way into a situation where maybe one day you're gonna find you a good woman because you're a good man. And then all of a sudden you guys are gonna make a union and then there's gonna be offspring from that. I look forward to that. What I don't look forward to is when little man, he's gonna be like my nephew kind of like little nephew, little Acho. He's like, man, uncle, daddy tripping. I was like, what happened? Well, I went out there today riding my bike for the first time. I fell down. Daddy said, you know what? That's who you are. You fell down, you're never going to get up. That's how you coming at Cam Newton, dog. His first year with Bill Belichick, he fell down. Can't he get up? Because when I look at the numbers, did Cam Newton have a better completion percentage last year than Tom Brady? You told me Cam Newton was trash last year. How the hell is he trash and he had a better completion percentage than the Super Bowl champion and MVP Tom Brady? How's he trash when
I didn't say he was trash. I wouldn't say
okay.
I wouldn't say Cam Newton was trash.
Garbage?
I might have said he played
Oh,
like
yeah,
trash,
yeah. That's what I mean right now. You're right. We're going to keep this real. Talk about the performance, not the performer. But is this trash? Having more rushing touchdowns than Michael Vick ever had in any season? Is that trash-ish? No, it's not. What about the fact that he had his second highest completion percentage in his career, which shows that maybe I didn't PR, but I'm still on the trajectory of
Let me ask you this then. Are you implying that Cam Newton will get better and that is the fix?
No.
Or these moves are making Cam Newton? Because these offseason moves haven't really done anything to me to say, oh, Cam is good now. Because going into next season, who their target's going to be? N'Keal Harry, Julian Edelman, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Rex Burkhead, Jacoby Myers. Nobody on that roster screams fear. Let's take y'all back to the defensive meeting rooms. Real quick, y'all come with us. We're going to have a defensive meeting, and we're going to sit in our chairs.
Acho up.
Acho up. Defensive line usually kick it in the back.
Hell yeah.
Defensive backs in the front, linebackers in the middle. And we'll go through the scouting report, and the coaches will be like, all right, this week, we really got our hands full.
Yep.
Never mind. This week, we really got our hands full. N'Keal Harry. No, we're not. This week, we really got our hands full. Nah, that ain't it. This week, Marcellus, nobody on this Patriots offense thus far scares you. So I don't know how I'm fixed if I'm still not intimidated as a defender.
Oh, I can tell you how. Because that same coach that's talking, somebody's going to raise their hand and say, yeah, but they got Bill Belichick, coach, and we ain't got him. So you need to put your damn red laser down and point it at yourself, coach. Who struck fear when Cam was out there winning MVP? It was a collection. It's
like Greg Olsen a little bit.
Yeah, Greg a little bit. But good. Add me up Hunter Henry, add me up Smith a little bit. Here's the point. The New England Patriots have always been a death by 1,000 paper cuts.
That's true. That is true.
A death by 1,000 paper cuts. Oh, he ain't. They are. That may be the issue this year. Coming up at the top of the hour, Kawhi and my Clippers took care of the Mavericks last night. Take that. But is our confidence level higher with them, or is it higher with the Lakers? But first, Tampa Bay. Ready for an encore? Do you want more? Because we'll tell you if the Bucs moves have made them the clear favorites. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
Welcome back. The Bucs are still fresh off their Super Bowl win, but they are not resting. Tom Brady agreed to an extension, and they're bringing back Chris Godwin, Levante David, Shaq Barrett, Rob Gronkowski, just to name some of them. Tampa's move sparked Yahoo to claim the Bucs as a Super Bowl favorites already next season. So Marcellus, has the Bucs moves made them clear favorites?
Yes. They're going back to back. In part because they just went back to back.
And winning. Claim it now. What is it, March 16th?
Yes.
Claim it first.
Yes, I claim it. I own it. Part of my name, damn it. They are going back to back because they just went back to back. And the back to back I'm talking about is winning the Super Bowl that some people didn't expect, but more importantly, to continue to go back to back. They just won free agency. Like, look at this team keeping it together, keeping the band together, as Tom Brady keeps stating. You talk about the trio of stars, and you talk about their core nucleus especially. They were able to retain them, not only retain them, but at that hometown discount. Uh-oh, here we go again.
Talk that talk.
That Tom Brady effect is in effect once again. Something about winning, man. Look, the end game, the end goal, the happiness, the peace of mind, the success that we all want to attain, Tom Brady embodies that. So when you could become the teammate of Tom Brady, or in this situation, you were the teammate of Tom Brady and reap the rewards that come with Tom Brady more so than any other NFL player in history, oh, yeah. You got something special in terms of mindset and culture. Let's keep it simple first on my first lap. Sometimes the answers are right there under your nose. Like you're looking out there for the complexities, and you're like, oh, my problems, the solutions are somewhere out there. Sometimes you just got to look down. The first step for this team going forward to win back-to-back is the fact that it's easier for them to win their division this year. Did they win their division last year? No, sir. No, they did not. But now if you look at the Saints, Jameis, you ready? Teddy Bridgewater, are you still going to be there? Do they love you? Or they drafted? Whatever. Matt Ryan, you were this close to getting traded or cut, whatever that situation is. The road is clearer in front of them, and this is not a leader in Tom Brady who needs adversity to fuel him. You give him the path of least resistance because he's such a tremendous leader, because he has such high character, he's still going to work as hard as those who work when their back's against the wall. All that adds up to me saying the Bucs are going to win back-to-back.
I won't go as bold as you. They are favorites, but they're not necessarily clear favorites. Let me start like this, Sel. Let's not act like the Bucs didn't catch the break of no quarterback for the Washington football team. They got Taylor Heineke. Let's not act
You don't think
like
that's going to happen this year? Somebody ain't going to have a good quarterback?
I'm just saying, let's not act like after that, Drew Brees didn't have the worst game of his career. Like 17, 18, whatever, 19-year career, the worst game of his career. Now, kudos to the Bucs defense for contributing to the worst game of his career, but let's not act like that didn't happen. Let's not act like Aaron Rodgers on the 3rd and 8 couldn't have run the ball, and who knows. Yeah. Now, I'm just going to say, like, we're not going to act like the Bucs went 19-0 and cakewalk to the Super Bowl. Like, they had to fight, they had to scratch, they had to claw, they caught some breaks, most teams do. But with all that being said, 2 keys to being the favorites if you've already won. Are you retaining your talent? That's the first key.
Yes.
And the second key, can you still maximize your talent?
Okay.
They already said they retaining the talent. And let's talk about these discounts, because that's really probably where this conversation will land. 2 pivotal pieces for the Buccaneers. Chris Godwin at receiver, can you keep him? And Shaq Barrett at defensive end, outside backer, can you keep him? Chris Godwin, they said, tag yo it. We gonna keep him. Shaq Barrett, I was like, oh, he gonna walk.
He gotta get that money.
27 sacks over 2 years, 19.5 sacks 2 years ago, 9.5 last. He gone.
You better than me. I've been out.
He signed a 4-year, $68 million deal, $36 million guaranteed. Now, if you at home or if you only made average money like me in the league, you're like, oh, that sounds like a lot of money. I said, hey, Andy, our statistician, I said, can you do me some research? Shaq Barrett, 27 sacks over 2 years, 4 years, $68 million deals. Is there a comp there? Marcellus, DeMarcus Lawrence had 25 sacks over 2 years and signed a 5-year, $105 million deal with $65 million guaranteed.
I told you he better than me. I would have walked.
DeMarcus Lawrence had just as much guaranteed money as Shaq Barrett's whole contract and had less sacks. So I am somehow still marveled at how this whole Buccaneers roster is taking all these hometown discounts. Because you're right, he better than you. Shaq Barrett better than me. I already got my ring. Now it's time for me to cash in. But it appears that the Buccaneers players are choosing winning over their own personal winning, pocket winning.
Yeah.
And for that reason, they are favorites. I don't know about clear, but they favorites.
Oh, man. I love the fact that you said first retain your talent, then you say you have to maximize that same talent. Now, in maximizing the talent, everyone always thinks that means you have to get the best out of you. Yes, in part, that's true. But don't forget that competition is a relative experience. So in a relative experience, you train for the absolute best in you and to train for the absolute best in your competition. But to win a competition, maybe your opponents are not as good. Let's talk about the opponents that may not be as good. The Chiefs, they're rebuilding that offensive line. I told you before, they lost 3 starters, they get 1. That's bad math. But they think that all of their issues are fixed. We'll talk about that later. How about the Packers? Oh, Aaron Rodgers, you want to talk about a situation where he's 7-8 in the playoffs since winning his Super Bowl? That's a losing record in the playoffs. Now, I could continue down here. The Rams, come on, man. Matthew Stafford never won a playoff game. I don't know about that. Saints, what's going on with Jameis? Seahawks, Russ, you okay? Pete Carroll, you all right? What's going on there? Cowboys, major question marks, especially defensively. Colts, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, which one? The real Carson Wentz, please stand up. Buffalo Bills, where you run the game at? Ravens. I know he could throw the ball, but who's calling these plays and where are the receivers that can catch the ball? Anyway, all of that said, it's a relative experience. You keep talking about it like, oh, the Bucs. But the Bucs going to be based on who they're playing. And right now, everyone has greater warts on their resume than the Bucs. And then you wanted to go here and disrespect not only me, but Curtis Blow. Because these are the breaks. You try to tell me that Tom Brady and the Buccaneers caught breaks. They did. Major breaks. Major breaks?
Major.
Is this a major break?
Heineke.
Is this a major break? Going against 3 Super Bowl MVPs and slaying each one of those dragons week to week.
One was 40 years old.
What were the other two? What were the other two?
38.
And another one? And another one?
25.
And the 25-year-old is the one you got to fear the most. Ain't no breaks. You make your breaks in life,
Come on,
bro.
Coach,
So I
don't
want to
do
hear
this.
it. Okay, if you don't believe me, then let's go back to my initial point. It's based on the relative experience. These other teams are not getting better to the degree to close the gap between the Tampa Bay Bucs and what they were and what they will be and what those teams are.
Here's what's real. The Bucs. Oh, you gave me
Sometimes you hit somebody and it take a minute. And then
What's real is this. The Bucs didn't actually get better. They just stayed the same. And usually Super Bowl winning teams get worse because talent starts to evaporate. Let's call a spade a spade.
Let's go.
For some reason, I was kind of bamboozled by this ideology and this thought process. Super Bowl winning teams don't get better. Think about this. Eagles win the Super Bowl. I'm going to go there in 2017. Frank Wright, their offensive coordinator, he had a head coaching job. So he left, and then things began to detract. LeGarrette Blount, he was gone. Pieces started to move. Pieces started to fizzle. Super Bowl winning teams, they just usually get worse. The difference is this Buccaneers team has stayed the same. Byron Leftwich, he back. Todd Bowles, he back. Bruce Arians, still there. Tom Brady, still there. So it's not so much, Marcellus, that the Buccaneers are ascending far above everyone else. They just were at the top, and they have not moved down. Other teams are still ascending. The Bucs, just usually Super Bowl winning teams, come down. The Bucs are staying up high. That's the difference in hand. I'm not going to say they're clear favorites. Buccaneers didn't get any better.
You sure?
They just didn't get worse.
Okay, this is why they got better. Simple. It's right under your nose again. You got a big nose. I know you can't see under there. Here's the thing. Right underneath that Nostradamus you have is the fact that...
Continuity?
Yes! See? Did they have that last year? No. You know they learned their offense and their defense off of this little screen right here. And you know as a conditioned athlete, we need to be out there, put our hands on somebody else to really experience the process.
But what about continuity minus cocky equals back to the basics? It equals back to the norm. You got paid before. I never got paid. I never got paid like Marcellus Wiley got paid. Now, I can look up how you performed after
I went to the Pro Bowl, All-Pro with a broken foot after getting paid.
You got paid twice.
Not the same. The second time I was sorry, but I got paid less too, so they got what they paid for. Hey, you want all of Wiley? Give me all the money. Don't give me no discount, fool.
So the fact is, like, yes, continuity will be the same, but when Chris Godwin is playing on that tag, making whatever that tag is going to be, it's going to be top 5 average receiver money.
Okay.
When Shaq Barrett is looking up like, ooh, these game checks just went from $150,000 a week to, $1.5 million a week. Are they going to kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit? Bucs have never tasted success. You know this. You tell me this every week. All of a sudden, not only did they taste success, they just went to a buffet. Sal, you know how it is. When I was in 9th grade, at my private school, we used to go on, everybody in 9th grade has to go to Pecos, New Mexico on this camping trip. It's a backpacking trip, all boys school.
That sounds fun so far.
You got to go on a solo. So 24 hours, you got to stay by yourself in the woods, etc. They teach you how to build tents, tarps, etc. Cook your own food, all that. True story.
Nobody's with you.
Nobody's with you. Not for those 24 hours. It's a solo. This is a true story. Now, here the kicker, Sal. You go from eating Spam out of jar and eating goldfish and whatnot. Then you come back to, I came back to Dallas or to where the school is, and all of a sudden you got to go to a buffet. You got to go to a buffet, and you eat, and then you full and you stuff, and you can't eat for days. Because after not eating for so long, you come back from that trip, you go to a buffet, and now you stuffed. I'm thinking that could be the Bucs. Let's not turn a blind eye to that. They ain't eating how long? They ain't been to the playoffs and win. Super Bowl since 02. Ain't 8 in a minute. Now you come back, and not only do you eat with Tom Brady, going from 7-9 to the playoffs, you win a whole Super Bowl. There's potential that they fool. There's potential that some of them cats is full. Not Tom Brady, but there's potential that some of them cats is full. They pockets is full. Pockets are full. I don't know. I know the pockets are full. The appetites might be full as well.
You just told me their pockets wasn't full because if they would have went somewhere else, they would have got more money. But now the pocket's full. I guess that's relative.
$68 million is still it's still a whole lot of money. You ain't never lied.
On your solo trip to New Mexico, it sounds like you lost your mind when they put you out there by yourself. You were just solitary confinement. You didn't come back right because you know where I grew up. Every day was that one day without food. Every day, food stamps, 2 welfare checks. Mama, I ain't got nothing. That's how I grew up. And what you trying to say about me and my appetite, my hunger, my desire. But in all seriousness, I'm stupid. I don't like your take. I really, this is one of those takes
that they might be full? That's common sense.
First of all, let's start relatively in recent history with the Kansas City Chiefs. There's a cautionary tale, but there's also a beautiful lesson to learn from the Kansas City Chiefs. Did they get better from their Super Bowl championship? They actually did.
Slightly. They improved the running game.
They did. Patrick Mahomes certainly did. He was injured the year before. This year, 14-1 as a starter. Woo! And they just ran into the master of the simple, which is Tom Brady. That's the only thing that really derailed that team. Let's not act like that wasn't a better Chiefs team. They just had a worse result and outcome.
And injuries. And injuries.
Offensive line really derailed them. But forget all that, because that's not the exact example. How about Tom Brady? Tom Brady's been here before. Last team to win a back-to-back Super Bowl was Tom Brady and New England Patriots. And in that situation, Tom Brady didn't act like he was full. He didn't act like you when you came back to your private school after being out there in solitary confinement. He acted like me, used to being hungry, no matter what the circumstances are. Coming up, the Seahawks did not make any big moves with their O-line. We'll tell you how Russell Wilson should feel about that. Next, don't speak for yourself.
Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. It's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People's Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you. Now, back to Speak for Yourself.
History is meant to be remembered, but not all history is meant to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And also recognizing what you did was racially insensitive. It was racially ignorant, and it plays itself out as racism. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't necessarily classify someone as racist. Rachel, continue to grow, and I applaud the steps you've taken thus far. I don't agree with cancel culture, but I do agree with accountability. And I can see that you're very much so being accountable. Good luck to both of you.
Big congratulations to my co-host, Mr. Emmanuel Acho, who killed it last night hosting The Bachelor after the final rose, and for doing such a great job, big dog. We have a dozen final roses for you. Come on out. Look at that.
Oh, look at this.
Oh,
y'all
man.
really love me.
Hell yeah, we do.
Y'all really love me out here.
We love the ratings.
I hope you pay for them, too.
It's all $3.99 from ABC. But seriously, how you feel after the show?
Man, I'm going to leave them right there, at least for the next 30 seconds.
Okay.
It was different, man. It was different. It was cool to have to tug at heartstrings. It was cool to be a part of a true, authentic, genuine conversation. I love talking sports. I love talking life. And I love being able to be able to do both.
Man, you're a talented dude, man. I just want to ride your wave a little bit. Congratulations to you, man. Huge platform. You are big time. I am going out with you. Drinks on you. And sorry you got to slum it here with me.
Whatever.
All right, let's get back to some sports, and let's get back to the NFL. This dude's killing it. And Russell Wilson, who vented this offseason about getting hit too much. Man, they hit me too much. But the Seahawks were quiet at the start of the NFL's legal tampering period with their offensive line. The drama in Seattle is not going away, and CBS Sports says adding protection for Russ, quote, could have been a key olive branch to possibly mend some fences. So, Achomania, how should Russell Wilson feel about the Seahawks right now?
So I think he should feel helpless, man. Like, there's some situations sometimes when you're just like, I wish somebody would do as much as I'm out here trying to do.
Ooh,
Remember, all the Seahawks drama started with Russell Wilson at the Super Bowl watching two teams play in that game, the Chiefs and the Bucs. And he was sitting there in the box next to his wife, Sierra, next to the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, and apparently he's shooting off texts like, man, we should be the ones playing in this game. Those two teams that were playing in the Super Bowl have either done jobs to maintain their rosters or done jobs to get better.
Yeah.
The Chiefs signed a Pro Bowl, all-pro offensive guard in Tooney. The Buccaneers retain all of their talent from their championship team. And then Russell Wilson is looking at his squad like, hey, what we out here doing? So if I'm Russell Wilson, they always tell you, Sal, control what you can control. I hate when coaches say that because I got a lot on the line. So if me controlling what I can control doesn't do enough to control my destiny or doesn't do enough to control my pocketbooks, then I want to control more than just what I can control. And Russell Wilson is at a point where he's tried to do that. Let me get a say in offensive play calling. Let me get a say in the offensive coordinator. Let me get a say in some of the offseason acquisitions, offseason moves. But he's getting backlash for that. So if I'm Russell Wilson, my initial thought would be helplessness. Because while we out here staying the same or getting worse, I'm watching other teams that were better than me stay the same. Other teams that were better than me get better.
Like that take. Can't be mad at that one. But in that take tells me why, if I'm Russell Wilson, I got to be careful of how I'm feeling, because the reason I'm in this situation in the first place is because of my feelings. Sitting there next to your beautiful wife, Sierra, sitting next to Commissioner Roger Goodell, you got in your feelings, dog. And it's okay. We all get in our feelings. It's just how does it manifest in your real day experience. But in this situation, I think it went the wrong way. Russell Wilson started to look at his team instead of remembering he's a part of that same team. So look at yourself as well, Russell Wilson, and say all the issues that I'm pointing out and highlighting with them, I need to have as many conversations, uncomfortable conversations, with myself as well. And he didn't do that. And then in that process of staying in his feelings and just pointing fingers and blaming others and just really speaking on the issues instead of the solutions for their situation, he lost perspective. That players play, coaches coach, owners own, and in Seattle, Pete Carroll does what the hell he wants to do. I mean, you know what's funny? If you look at Russell Wilson's hands right now, you will see the callus from this philosophical tug of war that he's losing right now. Ooh, that was deep. Russell Wilson is pulling at the rope. Let Russ cook. And Pete Carroll like, man, stop. What are you talking about? You ain't cooked nothing that we all can eat. We won Super Bowls my way. I tried to be lenient. I tried to allow you to fully blossom. But the second half of the last few seasons, Russell Wilson, what is going on with you? More importantly, why have you lost 4 of your last 5 postseason games? More importantly, in your last postseason game, You threw for 40% completion percentage and a pick six and got the nerve to sit up there with your wife and the commissioner and text somebody about our problems. You mean add a Y to our problems, your problems, because you're part of the problem. So when you're in your feelings, just be careful where they're going to take you, because sooner or later you got to get in front of that mirror.
But if I'm Russell Wilson, I get in front of the mirror and I would say this. Am I a top 5 quarterback?
Hell yes.
The answer is yes. Am I a top 3 quarterback?
Great conversation.
Good conversation. I'm a top 5 quarterback unequivocally. Then I look in the mirror and I would say this. Am I playing with the top 5 roster?
No.
I mean, that's not even a conversation.
Is that necessary to win, though?
No, but if you're telling me I got to look myself in the mirror, you said players play, coaches coach, owners own, GMs manage, general managers manage.
I ain't say that.
I'm saying, hey, what if y'all ain't doing it right? Because still, if I'm a top 5 quarterback or a top 3 quarterback in the conversation, then I should be one of the 5 final teams left. Or one of the 3
stop throwing pick sixes. Stop losing the quarterbacks that's getting traded.
I'm looking around saying, I'm doing my part better than y'all are doing your part. And so when it comes down to how I feel about all this, if y'all would perform at the same level that I'm performing, then we will be winning more. Think about it, Seth.
That's not team, though. No team, everybody performs like the best player.
Let's go there.
What team have you been on like that?
Go there. Football is a game of 11 on 11, but what do they say inside the locker room? What do they say inside your own individual meeting rooms? Just win your individual match.
Yes.
That's what y'all don't hear at home is, it's a team game. It's the ultimate team game. But even inside, especially as a defensive end, because y'all go up against the offensive tackle, your coach will tell you, hey, Sel, just win your individual matchup. If you, Marcellus Wiley, beat that offensive tackle, we good. So Russell Wilson is looking like, hey, Pete Carroll, John Snyder, GM, I'm winning my individual matchup. I'm a top 3 quarterback. I'm for sure a top 5 quarterback. Hey, Coach Carroll, you still a top 5 head coach? Because you're known for coaching defense. And last I checked, our defense was 22nd in the NFL. Hey, John Snyder, are you a top 5 GM? Because at first you were drafting phenomenally. You stole Richard Sherman, I think, in the 5th round. Cam Chancellor, I think you got him in the 5th round. Y'all got Earl Thomas before getting Taylor Mays, even though Pete Carroll, you coached Taylor Mays at USC. Earl Thomas was at Texas, and Pete Carroll, you chose to draft a Texas dude over the guy you coached. So you were a top 5 general manager between you, Coach Carroll, and John Snyder. But now are y'all still there? Because I'm doing my part. I don't know about y'all. So if I'm Russell Wilson, I'm hot. I'm hot about it, and that's how I feel right now. I feel helpless, and I feel heated.
Really? Russell Wilson needs to listen to the music that they listening to upstairs. And if he goes upstairs with these sentiments that you're over here expressing, they're going to send his butt right back downstairs. But he's going to hear the songs that they playing. Little Wayne up there, little Wayne up there. Funk your feelings, funk your feelings. Nobody want to hear about your feelings. Russell Wilson, you are not taking care of business like a top 5 quarterback should in money time. When is money time? December, January, certainly 4th quarters of any game, no matter when the game is played. Russell Wilson from week 10 through the end of the season, I have that as 9 games, 9 weeks. 25th yards per game, 18th passer rating. You just told me top 5, maybe top 3. What happened, Russell Wilson? You know why you don't get a MVP vote? Because you can't finish what you start. And then you get in your feelings and blame everybody. So when I look at when Andy Dalton has more touchdown passes than you from week 10, Andy Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater, Daniel Jones, more yards. Stop it. I'm not even going to bore you with those stats. I'm going to bore you with this. Why did Russell Wilson go from go Hawks to now it's time to go off on everybody? What happened to go Hawks? Go Hawks won a Super Bowl, went to a second one, and going off on everybody is going to get him where? I remind you that he had a running game. Top 5 rushing offense, 6 of his 9 seasons. He has defense. 8 of the 9 years, top ranked, top half of the league in terms of ranking and defense. You get a Walter Payton Man of the Year award, sit next to Sierra and the commission, all of a sudden you just go emo? Like I just don't get it. It makes no sense. Help me understand.
The problem is the issues you're bringing up, the issues that I'm bringing up, we got to understand, Sel.
What?
Russell Wilson is in a dilemma. Let's call a spade a spade.
He doesn't have two bad choices.
Yeah, he does.
What?
Because starting from week 9, you talk about all the all the stats that were no longer as dominant for Russell Wilson.
Okay.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
But the problem is the Seahawks collectively were a better team because in Pete Carroll's perfect way, my quarterback don't ball like that. When Pete's making the noise he was making, Russell Wilson wasn't balling like that. We'll get to more of that later.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you can't have it both ways.
Oh, yeah.
You can't use statistics and a lack of statistics to belittle Russell Wilson, but then at the same time be like, wait a second, Russell Wilson, why ain't you performing? Pete Carroll is limiting Russell Wilson's performance for the greater good of the team. So there's a dichotomy there that Russell Wilson is wrestling with. I can ball as an individually because I'm a top 3, top 5 player. If I'm not a top 3 or top 5 player, you, Pete Carroll, are limiting me from being a top 3 or a top 5 player. But it all gonna come back to Pete Carroll. That's what it comes down to. If I'm Russell Wilson, I'm as good as you will allow me to be. Allow me to be my best. Match my energy and you be your best. We'll be back in the Super Bowl. As simple as that if you Russ.
Oh, man, I wish it was that simple, Russ, but it's not even that simple for Tom Brady. How the hell is it going to be that simple for you? Russell Wilson, Danger Russ is living to Danger Russ. He is now engaging in petty war. And last time I checked, and I'm 46, when you engage in petty war, be prepared for pettiness because they are going to return fire. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You done brought the ego into this. You done brought feelings into this. You think Pete Carroll and them upstairs sitting there like, yeah, we're incentivized now to help Russell Wilson. You are now pulling in a different direction than Pete Carroll. The canoe is not going to go as fast that way. You guys need to come to a like mind and understanding and agree on which way to go. So, Russ, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, huh? They over there looking at you right now like, Russell, we have dressed you up as well as we could. And now we have departed that and took care of you not once, but twice in terms of compensation. But when you get paid like such, you have to do more. You have to live up, be accountable to that same amount of money. Doesn't sound like Russell Wilson's interested in that. Coming up, Kawhi Leonard dunked all over the Mavericks last night, but we'll tell you if we're more confident in my Clippers or the Lakers. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Come on, Russ. I'm better than that. Let's get to the NBA where LeBron James had a triple-double in the Lakers' blowout win against the Warriors last night. My Clippers took care of business against the Mavericks behind Kawhi Leonard's monster dunk. Lakers have won back-to-back games since the All-Star break ended, while the Clippers bounced back from a blowout loss to the Pelicans. Joined now by Fox NBA analyst Slick Rick the Bucher, but Acho, which LA team are you more confident in? My Clippers or your Lakers?
It's easy. It's the Lakers. And without any bias, there's really not an argument. There's really not a discussion here. The Lakers, historically, recent history, are better. The Lakers, present, right now, history, are better. Marcellus, the Lakers haven't had Anthony Davis in, what, a month and some change now?
Yeah.
They still got a better record than the Clippers. Marcellus, with Anthony Davis present, the Lakers still had a far better record than the Clippers. The Clippers were supposed to be that team last year, but Doc Rivers was a problem. Wait a second. Get rid of Doc Rivers. He out there balling on the East now, and the Clippers still out here trying to figure things out. No. I'm not confident in the combination of PG. I'm not confident in the combination of Kawhi with PG. I'm also looking at it like this. The Clippers are 10-10 since February 4th. They've lost 4 out of their last 6, but the Lakers have won 4 out of their last 6. So if I'm doing my math correctly, the Lakers are finally starting to figure things out a little bit without AD, and AD is still coming back. Meanwhile, the Clippers, what's their excuse? No, the Lakers I'm absolutely more confident in, always have been, always will be, as long as LeBron James is there.
I'm with you on this, Acho, and for much of the same reasons. Look, the Clippers came into this season with something to prove, didn't they? Because they were supposed to be the team last year, and they didn't come through in the bubble. The biggest difference for me, and I could get into the weeds when it comes to defense and whatnot, and I will in a second, but the big difference for me is leadership. We know what the Lakers are capable of. We know that LeBron James can get the most out of the pieces around him. But Kawhi Leonard last year was not as good as he was in Toronto the year before when he won a championship. And this year, he hasn't been even as good as he was last year. Defensively, he is playing the worst defense that he has in his career outside of those 9 games when he was hurt in his last year in San Antonio. And where do they need leadership the most? At the defensive end. That's ultimately where they're 15th right now. They were 6th last year during the regular season. Then the shutdown came. They were 8th among the 16 teams, mediocre in the bubble. Where have they gone since then? They're 15th this year in defensive efficiency. Meanwhile, the Lakers, who have nothing to prove, we know how good they can play, are number 1 in defensive efficiency. And it really comes down to effort and attention to detail. And I'm just seeing too little of it from the Clippers, and who's going to hold them accountable for it? Maybe we blame that on Doc Rivers for not doing it. Well, bottom line is it's got to come from the locker room, and it still hasn't.
Man, y'all need to get your eyes checked. I did get a LASIK surgery maybe 5 years or so. I have 25 vision. That means I can see everything y'all can see, plus some, because y'all looking at the wrong things. Me and my boys used to have these little conversations. Y'all know it's the Clippers, right? We have these conversations. We used to go to the club, and we used to always joke around, you know. We say, boy, we ain't going to never have a fight in the club because we're looking for different things. And what I'm looking for in my team is something different than y'all looking for in your team. Y'all telling me about best records and telling me who has a better record. Let's see. Who had the best record last year and did they win the championship? Nope. Oh, let's see. Let's go to the year before. Did that work? Nope. Oh, okay. Forget about that. Oh, now you want to go to this. You know what the Lakers are capable of. Do you? Are you using last year as your measurement? Because last year they had a 5-month break in a bubble. That's not going to happen this year. So when you talk about a 36-year-old superstar king GOAT, and then you talk about AD and his injury concerns his entire career, and certainly in present day, what's going to save the day in terms of that interruption, that break that they used and took advantage of last year? Nothing. Okay, so now I'm looking in the kitchen at the oven because I'm a slow baker. Y'all at the microwave fighting and elbowing each other. Talking about, I can see it, it's almost done, ding, ding, ding. And here's the problem. You're not looking at what the Clippers are doing. They're slowly baking this thing the right way. The subtle things, the boring things, the little things. Number 1 team in the NBA in free throw percentage, the free money, Clippers. Number 1 team at the three-point line, the big money, Clippers. That's all that matters right now. We know Kawhi Leonard, and we know that the war attrition would hurt the Lakers and help a collective squad like the Clippers. So when we at the club, don't worry. It's all on me because it's all going to end happily if you bet with me and my Clippers.
The problem is, though, Sel, at what point in time with these new age, new era of Clippers have you ever seen continuity? You say we're looking for different things. Yeah. I'm looking for things that are sustainable. I'm looking for leadership. I'm looking for clutch ability. Like, I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know what you're looking for in the club, but I'm looking for something that you can actually be married to when it comes down to success. You just looking for something to, I don't know, take home real quick.
It's your boy.
Neither here nor there. I'm down, sir. Married.
I know. I'm down. I ain't been in the club in a long time either.
Lock back in.
Okay, I'm back in.
Thank you. Look, I'm going to get back to the point. Kawhi Leonard said this, Sal. He said, if we want to have a chance at anything, you got to be consistent. He said it's all about consistency. The players, the team, the coach, collectively. If Kawhi Leonard, the one dude who don't ever say nothing, especially nothing disparaging, is out here talking about, man, we got to be consistent if we want to be great. If he's calling it out, Marcellus Wiley, if he sees it and they've never been consistent, you just out here hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping on a prayer. I'm actually looking at things that are substantive that we've actually seen in the past, and the Lakers have shown us that. Clippers never have.
In the past? What the hell you lying for? In the past, the Lakers, when they didn't have AD, which they don't have right now, how did that work out for the Kings? Got injured trying to put the entire team on his back and didn't make the playoffs. Oh, they get AD.
Small sample size.
Well, hold on. Here's a smaller sample size. Last year, because you played the season. If Coach came up to you, Slick, you play basketball, and said, 10 gases right now. And then on the 7th one, when you really starting to feel that lack of gas, he's like, all right, go home and come back and give me the other 3. Isn't that a lot easier and a lot different than all 10 at the same time? That's going to be the small sample size of this year. And trust me, that's going to add up against these Lakers who are trying to do it without AD. And what are they trying to do? I don't know. It doesn't look too good. 20th in the NBA in points per game, 23rd in three-point percentage. That's today's game. You got to light up the scoreboard. So keep talking about small sample sizes, keep talking about the Clippers, and keep talking about how AD's going to come back and save the day. You better hope and pray, because if he doesn't, we know what happens to these Lakers without AD.
You keep cherry-picking these offensive numbers, free throw percentage and
free money,
points scored and all that stuff. What I care about is, what do they do in winning time? Oh. What do they do when they need to close? Well, let me have a full screen. Let's take a look at what happens in the last 5 minutes when we compare the Lakers versus the Clippers. Now, look at that first one. That first one, tied or trailing. The Clippers, when they are behind by 5 in the last 5 minutes, they almost never come back and win. But what's even more disturbing is they can be ahead by 5 in the last 5 minutes, and it's still not a guarantee. And may I remind you, this is a Lakers team that has already demonstrated, look, we don't need a seeding. We don't need to prove anything. We're the defending champions. We just need to be right and healthy at the end of the year, and we can close. The Clippers are the ones who have to prove that their GAC job against the Denver Nuggets last year, when they gave up those leads time after time after time, that they're no longer that they have the steely reserve to get it done. They have to prove that, and yet they are not. What is this? We got. Oh, my.
We saw you over there stuttering. We're like, she's Happy birthday.
Somebody, hey, be careful. We got a smoke alarm that's going to go off in here. We didn't need to have to put all the candles on there.
We didn't want to age you, but we had to put a couple.
Thank you very much.
Make a wish.
Yeah,
you better make a wish and blow them out.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to make this wish for Marcellus. You know what it is.
Clipper, please. Clipper, oh, much love to
That's
you.
Right.
And thanks to your wife for coming in with the cameo and the cake. And your wife is gunned up. You don't think I saw the muscles? Tell her to keep it going. Oh, happy birthday, brother. Well, let's keep it going, y'all.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
The Bucs are doing everything they can to repeat. Did you see our guns? Man, we'll tell you if they're in the driver's seat for another Super Bowl run. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. All you think they do.
Welcome back. Time to head back to Tampa Bay. The Super Bowl champs went from partying on boats to getting new contracts done. Now, that's how you party and get to work. Tom Brady signed an extension, and the Bucs were also able to bring back receiver Chris Godwin, linebacker Levante David, Shaq Barrett, and y'all know him, Rob Gronkowski. So, Marcellus, are the Buccaneers in the driver's seat to repeat and run it back for another Super Bowl?
Yep, in the driver's seat, two-seater, no passenger. Damn right. Nobody else is next to them, not even the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at this squad, man. Like, it's so difficult to retain greatness. Last time a team went back-to-back, it was the same quarterback in Tom Brady when he was in New England. More importantly, you can look at a recent example with the Kansas City Chiefs as a cautionary tale of the fact that they were able to retain greatness, improved. Patrick Mahomes went 14-1 as a starter, but still came up short. Now, if you look at that as a situation, it will remind you, not only can we go out there and do what we did before, but be careful of becoming arrogant because we retained all our talent. I don't think they become arrogant because of the leadership abilities of one Tom Brady. You add all that up, Acho, in a COVID cap year where it was 8% decline in terms of the cap resources, but they still went out there and got everything that they wanted done. Whew. I don't know what the universe is whispering right now about this situation, but it looks like all of the momentum, now the continuity, and also the leadership and the newfound culture, mindset, and expectations are all supporting this team. Yeah, they're in the driver's seat, no passengers.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that the Buccaneers, they did the best job of retaining all of their pieces. Now, the only place I differ is that Yeah, they in the driver's seat, but there are teams riding shotgun.
I'm listening.
The team's riding shotgun. Like, I can't just turn the blind eye to the fact that the Chiefs were the best team over the last 2 years. The Chiefs had a bad day without either of their starting offensive tackles that should have been starting over the course of the season, Fisher and Schwartz. And then the Chiefs got manhandled. But it's not as though the Buccaneers cakewalked through the entirety of the season. Now, second half of the season, significantly better than the first half of the season. They were 8-0 over those last 8 games. We all know that. We all recognize that. But in the same breath, like, the Buccaneers are still going to have to put in work. The only difference is this.
Yes.
The best team maintained all of their pieces. And if the best maintains is what made them the best, they should be able to run it back. But, again, you got teams like the Rams ready to snipe. Who? You heard them? The Rams were always saying they a quarterback away. All of a sudden, they got that quarterback.
Until the playoffs come, then they don't know who they got.
You can't judge a man if he's barely ever been there. Like, it's not like he's failed there in excess.
Really?
He just never got there. So with that being said, the Bucs are in the driver's seat, but I do got some cats riding shotgun.
Let's see.
Speaking of someone riding shotgun, let's bring in Bucky Brooks, NFL analyst, to get his opinion on the take. Bucky, are the Bucs in the driver's seat for another Super Bowl run?
No. I just committed a TV sin. I said one thing and I'm doing another. But after hearing y'all wax poetic about Tampa Bay like they're the greatest team to ever play, no. We were talking about the Kansas City Chiefs having a dynasty. Look, they slipped up. They got touched up a little bit. They tasted a little blood like Bruce Lee. They got it in their mouth, but they're coming back. My man, Patrick Mahomes is still playing at an MVP level. When you look at the number of games that this team has won over the last 2 years, I don't know how we can dismiss them and say that they're not the team to actually beat. Let's think. They are a team who has all of the firepower coming back on offense. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. You got Patrick Mahomes, who will be healthy and able to play fully. Because remember, in that Super Bowl, he wasn't right. He's over there limping along, can't get around. They upgrade the offensive line, bringing Joe Thuney over. This is a team that will be back. This is the team that I believe is setting up the dynasty to make that run where they dominate and continue to lord over the National Football League because they are so dominant, particularly on offense.
Oh, man, I don't want to turn this into a Kansas City Chiefs beatdown segment, but since y'all keep thinking they riding shotgun, I'm going to tell you how they're not. Maybe in the car, my homegirls used to clown. They were like, the one dude you don't date is the one that's in the back seat who's on the passenger side because he's the brokest. And I should crack up. And that's where the Chiefs are because the Chiefs right now lost 3 offensive line starters. And they bring in 1 and they think that's good math. Okay. 2, if you look at it, I love me some Patrick Mahomes. I know a lot of people know that I'm objective, so that sounds critical of Patrick Mahomes. But you can't sneeze at his greatness. But he is 6-2 in the postseason. 6-2. And those 2 losses came to what player? The same quarterback, Tom Brady? So you're trying to tell me that Superman has kryptonite? Duh. But his kryptonite is in living form, and it lives in Tampa Bay. And that is Tom Brady, who has figured out, once again, how to master the simple. The problem with Kansas City riding shotgun is that they still haven't focused in on their greatest issue, mastering the simple things. That said, you look at this Tampa Bay squad, the best just got better because it's not about just retaining that talent. It's the continuity, the support. Now the injection of a new mindset and winning culture that came from Tom Brady and all the collective success. Man, look, when you get paid, there's a pressure to get paid. Then after you get paid, there's a pressure to live up to that same payment. That's what these Tampa Bay Bucs are going to do. Live up to those expectations because they got the greatest leader in NFL history leading the way.
Here's my thing, No-Sell. Let's not act like one poor performance by the Kansas City Chiefs is going to create this whole narrative of, oh, the Bucs dominate the Chiefs and the Chiefs. Remember, they were 1-1 last year. They played each other twice. Chiefs won the first time, Bucs won the second time. So I'm not going to let one poor performance create a narrative that the Bucs are running away with everything. The Bucs were 11-5 last year. They got dusted up a couple times. They took some bad losses, some terrible losses within their division. Now, When push came to shove, they won the whole thing. Pay homage to that, pay the respect to that. But we're not going to just sit here and act like there is no other competition to the Bucs. Bucs are in the driver's seat, not because they got better, but because they didn't get worse. We're going to talk track and field because my dogs up here know track and field. And you at home, if y'all watch the show long enough, y'all know track and field by now. The last 20 minutes of a race, you're not getting faster. It's just who is decelerating most rapidly.
Hold on.
The last 20 meters of a race.
Oh, 20 meters. I thought you said minutes. I'm like, what the hell?
20 minutes.
You got the wrong.
Nobody in this thing.
Ain't nothing up here. Look like 20-minute running.
But the last 20 meters of a 100-meter sprint, nobody is getting faster.
Yeah.
It's just who is decelerating most rapidly. The Buccaneers, they not getting faster right now. They're just decelerating less rapidly than other Super Bowl winners. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I'm going to let Bucky tell you you're wrong. But yeah, you're wrong. I don't want to hear that. Race me in the 40. I ain't getting slower the last 20.
I mean, so here's the other thing, and I know we have a love affair with Tom Brady. And Tom Brady, hung a title. He did all the thing. But are we going to act like it's not going to happen? The fall off is not going to happen because of all the weapons that he has around him, because the defense is playing at a lifestyle level. Are we expecting Tom Brady to continue to play at a high level at 44 years of age? Like, that's unrealistic for us to expect him to continue to ward off Father Time. At some point, he is coming back to the pack, and we've already seen it at times. Remember, this is a guy that got amnesia. You forgot what was going on against the Chicago Bears. You can remember that it was 4th down or not. He has had some missteps and some hiccups along the way. Yes, he's a Super Bowl champion. Yes, he has 7 of those shiny things on his mantle. But I am not ready to say that in a one-and-done game that he is going to outduel Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes had a hiccup. He wasn't playing at his best because he was injured, and he had 2 offensive tackles who didn't know what they were doing. That won't happen again. I fully expect the Kansas City Chiefs to be there. And if they meet them again, I expect the Chiefs to hoist the trophy. And they continue on with this dynasty that they had talked about.
Oh, my offensive line, man, everybody getting hurt. And everyone focuses in on that when the team loses, when you expected that same team to win. But did y'all look at the winners? They had lost their offensive starting guard, and they had lost, not lost. They had a rookie out there at offensive tackle. A rookie, and we don't have our guard, and no one wants to talk about that. I'm just saying, in the Super Bowl, your rookie year, maybe you're going to get better the next year. I don't know. You tell me how Tristan Wirfs is going to perform next year. Point being, y'all stop trying to predict when Tom Brady's going to fall off, when he's going to decline. Look at last year. Everyone said that. And I remember you guys. Acho had a field day when Tom Brady didn't know it was 4th down. Clowning, laughing. And they were 7-5, you look up. And you're like, what the hell's going on? I think that Acho's right. I think that these analysts are right. It's over. And then they didn't lose another game the entire year. So keep trying to predict it. Oh, you want to say, well, they're fat and full and they just won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady, after winning Super Bowls, is still a beast. I remind you, last player to go back-to-backs, Tom Brady. Oh, what about in 2015 when he won a Super Bowl? After that year, he came back, lost in the AFC Championship game. Y'all act like that's a bad thing. Oh, what about when he won a Super Bowl in 2016? Came back, lost in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady is not the type to get fat and full and doesn't continue to pursue greatness because he's embodying greatness. It's over for y'all. Tom Brady, Super Bowl champs, back-to-back once again. Tom Brady's former team is on a spending spree. We'll tell you if their money moves, I should say, make Bill Belichick look desperate. That's next. Speak for yourself. About to argue some more.
For the first time in 11 years, WWE Hall of Famer Edge competes in a match on SmackDown. Plus, Sasha Banks collides with Nia Jax in a championship showdown. It's an all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern on Fox.
Let's get back to the NFL. The Patriots are being very aggressive with a huge facelift to their roster. Bill Belichick finished with his worst record in New England since 2000, but his team has reportedly spent $269 million to several players. Guaranteed money alone is more than the Patriots have spent in the last decade combined. Bucky is back, but Acho, does Bill Belichick look desperate after the Patriots spending spree?
No, he definitely looks desperate. But, Sal, I think of desperation as Are you overpaying for something? Are you overextending for something? Sal, let's talk real for a second.
Let's go real.
A fella is going to look desperate, or a woman might look desperate if it's like trying to holler a little bit too much. Like, you're doing a little bit too much. That's where I think Bill Belichick is right now, because if I do my calculations and my math correctly, he paid $48 million combined to Nelson Aguilar and Bourne. Come on now, Marcellus Wiley. Two dudes that combined for 1,500 yards last year. Nelson Aguilar's never had a 1,000-yard receiving season, and that's my dog, my Nigerian brother. And Kendrick ain't never had more than 700 yards receiving. So if you're paying a dude who ain't never had more than 700 yards receiving, $22 million, you paying a dude who ain't never had more than 900 yards receiving, $26 million, that to me, Marcellus Wiley, screams, shouts, desperation. Now, is it a necessary desperation? Sure, in theory. Y'all get to that on my next lap. But out the gate, is it absolutely desperate? Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
My goodness. Acho.
What's up, bro?
I take offense. Like, what's up, homie? That kind of offense to you saying that Bill Belichick looks desperate, trying to improve his roster.
Terribly desperate.
Oh, there's two things that hit me right now. One is, damn, this Bill Belichick envy is just insane. Like, oh, Bill Belichick can win without good players. Oh, no. Bill Belichick should just go out there and just say, mind over matter, and whoever's out there, whatever happens, who cares? Why y'all so mad at Bill Belichick when he told you, one, I didn't have any money last year. That's why the roster looked like that, plus COVID. Now, no excuses. Next year, it will look different. He is living literally by the words that he expressed last year. But everyone killed him because there's Bill Belichick envy. Bill Belichick, look at you. You can't do it without Tom Brady, etc. So Bill Belichick's like, okay, let me do it the way you're supposed to do it. And now we're going to get mad at him because Acho is expressing the same sentiment of this dumbass commercial I used to hate when I used to watch growing up. Never let them see you sweat. I used to sit there and be like, what you supposed to let them see then? That I'm chilling, that I got swag, that I'm too cool for school and I ain't going to try as hard as I can. So it's amazing that when you get to that level, and nobody is on the level of Bill Belichick, then all of a sudden people try to undercut you with like, you look desperate. You trying too hard. And I got to admit this, Acho. Let me be real. The reason why this hits me right here is because I was the guy that, when I was in the league, that would still go in the middle of the dance floor with a sweat towel and party with everybody. And they were like, dog, you look kind of thirsty, like a little desperate. Like, play it cool. Why play it cool? I know what I want, and it ain't here. It's out there. I'm not mad at you, Bill Belichick, letting them see you sweat.
I mean, I don't think this is a desperate move because desperate would mean the situation was hopeless, as if the Patriots didn't have hope. They finished 7-9. They lost a handful of games by 8 points or fewer. You go back the Seattle game. You go back and look at the Buffalo game where they're going in and Cam Newton fumbles. So this is a situation where Bill Belichick is saying, hey, we're close but no cigar. We need to upgrade the talent around it. We need to go all in and make sure we are going to be a team that can live up to the standard. The standard in New England is winning Super Bowls, to be a Super Bowl contender. And so what they want to do is put a team on the field that enables them to play a style that will put them in a position to win the Super Bowl. I believe he looked down to Baltimore. He saw how the Baltimore Ravens have been gutting people with the running game and also playing good defense. So what does he do? He goes and gets two tight ends so they can play big boy football against the nickel packages. He brings back a running quarterback in Cam Newton who had 12 touchdowns last year on the ground. Then you go and look at all the veteran pieces that they've added. So now they can play complementary football with a defense that now understands how to play together and how to win. So no, this isn't about desperation. This is about returning to excellence, returning to the level that we're accustomed to seeing the Patriots. So no, it's not a desperate move. It is a move that was born out of necessity to put the team back on track.
But fellas, let's be real. I don't think they're all mutually exclusive. Now, I don't know if y'all have been in this situation. I don't necessarily know that I have, but my friends have. Think about Thanksgiving dinners, right? You hit 30, 31, 32, you're still single. You get to your in-law, not even your in-law's house because you ain't got no in-laws.
So you ain't married.
So you get to your folks' house and your people's house, your cousins, auntie, uncle, and them. And all of a sudden, you hear, okay, where's your own wife, right? And then you might hear that. Your African people going to hit you with, where's your own own wife? Where's your own spouse? So now next time around, Bucky Brooks, you bring somebody to the Thanksgiving dinner. You not really trying to wife them, but you bring them there because you don't feel like listening to, okay, where's your own wife? Where's your own husband? See, so now you just do something to shut everybody up.
Oh, man.
That's what Bill Belichick did with these signings, Sale. That's what he did. Bucky is like, Kendrick Bourne, okay, I'm going to spend $22 million. That'll shut Bucky Brooks up. Nelson Aguilar, I'll spend $26 million. That'll shut Marcellus Wiley up. Ooh, and we got Hunter Henry. Ooh, and we got Jonnu Smith. That'll shut him up. Now I ain't got to hear that I'm too frugal and not spending in free agency. They not really married to success with these signings, but just like you show up at Thanksgiving dinner with one of these friends you're not really going to marry, but at least for a moment, you quieted your auntie and uncle in them. That's all Bill Belichick did. He looks desperate because he bringing some people to the roster that ain't really going to make a difference. He's just trying to hush folk up.
God, I love you, Acho, boy. And who hasn't lived through that scenario before? Give me auntie name. Give me somebody auntie name. What's the auntie name, Acho?
Just go with Shirley. Shirley's safe.
Shirley ain't no African auntie. You up here lying. This ain't The Bachelor. We keep it real on this show. Auntie, what? All right, whatever. Auntie Shirley then. If them triceps ain't hanging, auntie, if they ain't down to the floor, I ain't eating your cooking anyway, auntie. So I'm not faking the funk when I show up. Yeah, I'm solo again. And, auntie, you divorced twice and got gang of kids, so I'm not trying to hear this. This is what Bill Belichick is doing. He ain't faking it for me and Bucky and Acho's criticism. He just went shopping after the breakup with his ex, and that same ex was out there winning. So we've all been there before where you need a little emotional hype, a little emotional injection of love, whether it's emotional eating, that's what I used to do, or some people like to emotionally shop. Now, Acho, that doesn't mean he's shopping for the wrong things. It just means, okay, he is going out there on a mission. And the mission is to dress up Cam Newton, who wasn't trash last year, who wasn't bad as everyone is saying, but everything around him pretty much was. And he's like, I'm going to make sure that we leave no excuses for this team going forward. What's wrong with that? And what's wrong with Bill Belichick saying, I like being great and I know how to be great. So let me go out there and show you how great I am.
You know, Marcellus, when I hear Acho over there talking about Thanksgiving and bringing one to get the heat off of him, he obviously hasn't gone to the cookout and not wanting the heat, but you want to be celebrated because who you show up with. Okay. And so what Bill Belichick is doing is he wants to make sure that he wins the conversation at the cookout. When he sits down at the spades table, he wants the cousin to come over and be like, all right, dog, I see you. I see you. So that's why they got Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, because he wants the people to come around. He wants Robert Kraft to come around and tip to him when he's bringing his own apart and be like, okay, I see what you're working with there, homie. And so Bill Belichick is trying to put it together because you're worrying about Thanksgiving. But Bill Belichick got on his slides at the cookout trying to make sure everyone knows who he is. Just to remind them, old timer, I'm still the OG at this. I know how to get it done. I still can pull it if I need to. That's all Bill Belichick is doing. He's just letting you know he can show up at the cookout with a bad and still get it done.
But here the problem, fellas.
That is it. Oh, it ain't no more to it than that. That is it.
The devil is in the details. What do I mean? On paper, it's like, ooh, Hunter Henry, okay. I like Hunter Henry by name. Oh, but what's up with Hunter Henry? Oh, he can't stay healthy. See, Bucky, here's the thing about you and Marcellus. I know y'all kind of guys. I'm not this kind of dude. One, I got a big head, and not figuratively, literally, I have a large head. And two, I got hair. So y'all the type of cats that show up with a hat on, right? And the girls be like, ooh, he cute. He cute. Oh, Bucky, he cute. He wears glasses. Marcellus, you show up to the club with a back hat. Oh, but then what happened? The devil's in the details. Y'all take them hats off, and they're like, oh my God, he ain't got no hair, though. He ain't got no hair, girl. And the problem is, on paper, Nelson Aguilar, he a big play threat. Ooh, he a big play threat, girl. Wait, he's never had a 1,000-yard season? Oh, God, Kendrick Bourne. Hey, Bucky. Kendrick Bourne is something. What is wrong with a 700-yard season? Acho. The devil, fellas, is in the details. Ain't nobody checking for what moves that Bill Belichick is making, not on offense.
Acho, Bill Belichick is showing up with the house shoes on, with his foot heel on the back, because he know he's old school. See, like, you're not from out this way, and neither am I, but I've been in L.A. long enough. When you show up, you got to show up to the cookout with your house shoes on. Let them know that you're comfortable. Your home is wherever you put your feet down. That's what Bill Belichick is doing. I got the people with me. I want you to celebrate.
Man, cracked heels, too. No lotion on the heels, foot on the back, drag it on the ground, duck feet, what it do? Eating ribs in front of the T-shirt, everything. That's what Bill Belichick doing. Acho, nobody gives a damn at the cookout about her degree. We just saying how fine they are. Hunter Henry is that dude when healthy. We ain't going that deep. Enjoy your food. Coming up, Russell Wilson could be out in Seattle, but we'll tell you if it would be crazy to replace him with Sam Darnold. That's next. Speak for yourself. Boy, Bucky, that was...
Welcome back. Russell Wilson's trade rumors are still making headlines, and now there's a new wrinkle. The New York Daily News reports Pete Carroll has a high opinion of former USC quarterback Sam Darnold and could end up trading for him if Seattle moves Russell Wilson. Now, Carroll and Darnold, like I said, they have a USC connection, and back in December, Carroll said Darnold was, quote, going to be a really big-time QB. I hear you, Coach Carroll. Stanford, then, why don't you? So, Marcellus, would the Seahawks be crazy to replace Russell Wilson with Sam Darnold?
Yes, they would be crazy to do this, and they're not going to do this. This is just taking care of one of your own, like trying to pump up the value. Because there are a lot of phone calls being placed in the New York Jets over Sam Darnold because of his potential and his age. But Pete Carroll's not stupid. Pete Carroll knows he's just doing his boy a favor because a bird in the hand beats two in the bush. And the bird in hand is Russell Wilson. And the two in the bush is age and potential of Sam Darnold. Burn that bush. I'm keeping this bird in my hand, and I'm taking care of this bird and Russell Wilson. Sam Darnold, who I think, and what a change of scenery, would be a good to great quarterback. I still am rolling the dice on seeing that become reality. So, nah, Pete Carroll's not crazy. He's just looking out for one of the alums, looking out for one of the little homies. But in terms of Russell Wilson going to the Jets and getting back Sam Darnold, ludicrous, not happening.
I don't think it will happen, but it would not at all be crazy if it did. And again, Sel, I have to continue to beat on this horse to make this abundantly clear that, well, let me not beat.
I'm about to say, that's animal cruelty up here.
I know.
I got a bird, you beat horses. Hell going on?
This living horse, let me continue to pet this living horse.
What?
This point that I'm trying to make, Sel.
Leave the horse alone, just ride.
I'm petting it.
Okay, I'm on it. I'm riding. I'm out.
Okay, here's the point, Sel.
You.
The point is this. Pete Carroll don't need Russell Wilson, this Russell Wilson.
Don't do that again. Didn't you learn from that tape that wasn't your best?
My point is this. Let's cut to the chase. Cut to the full screen. When Pete Carroll had Russell Wilson, let's look at how Russell Wilson performed the year Pete Carroll won the Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. I'm going to cut all the hoopla and get straight to the point.
Right.
When he won the Super Bowl with Russell Wilson, 63% completion percentage, Sel. 209 passing yards a game. 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
That's kind of good.
That's all Pete Carroll needs. Oh, that's kind of good?
That 26-9 right there.
Okay.
Not the rest.
Because you know what's crazy, and again, I'm going to get back to my point. If that's all Pete Carroll needs to win, I'm going to tell you who gave you that this year. I told you last time, but y'all didn't see it. So I'm going to tell you who gave you that
I was
this
here.
year.
I saw it.
Just a guy by the name of Baker Mayfield.
I knew you were going to go there.
See him on the left.
Oh, God.
All Pete Carroll needs to win a Super Bowl in an NFL. I'm not talking about a national championship in college. I'm not talking about a BCS Fiesta. No, all he needs to win a Super Bowl is a performance of the caliber of Baker Mayfield last year. Baker Mayfield didn't wow a ton of people. He surely didn't wow Marcellus Wiley.
You're damn
but Baker
right.
Mayfield was definitely serviceable. Now, if all you need is a Baker Mayfield caliber performance, you don't think Sam Darnold can give you that?
Yeah.
Under the tutelage of Pete Carroll?
Yeah.
Of course he can. So if Pete Carroll is like, wait a second, I can get a competent quarterback without the ego and probably a couple first-round picks, because it's not just Russell Wilson for Sam Darnold straight up. I could get a competent quarterback, no ego, and some first-round picks to build up my defense, which is what I'm in love with more anyway. Oh, that's not crazy. We have to remember, Russell Wilson is of value to us sitting in this chair. But to Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, he could probably take him or leave him, depending on what arrogance and what ego comes with Russ as well.
Wow, why stop there? Why stop at that level of Russell Wilson? Why stop at that level of Baker Mayfield? Let's go all the way back. Let's go to Tom Brady in his first Super Bowl, 18-12 in touchdowns and interceptions. We could go even worse, shall we? Like, Trent Dilfer, who I love, that's my guy. Smart. But one and done. Like, come into Baltimore, win the Super Bowl, bye. We don't even need you. Please, you're not addressing what needs to be addressed around those same quarterbacks who give you that level of performance. You need running game and you need a killer defense.
Correct.
Okay, they don't have that.
But could.
Oh, look, could and should, ifs and fifths. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not ifs and fifths. If Russell Wilson is limiting them monetarily from having that, if Russell Wilson is limiting them by ego, I want to cook, I don't just want one MVP vote, I want the whole thing. Russell Wilson is limiting them from having what Pete Carroll wants to succeed. That's the dilemma, Stel. It's like, it's not an if or a fifth. It's literally Russell Wilson is standing in the way, figuratively and to a degree, literally, of Pete Carroll's formula for success.
Yeah, it's funny, though. This is what we always disagree. It's always this transition, like, okay, as you say, limited reacting. Like, I just take this player, put him in that situation, and then everything's going to be the same or better. Doesn't work that way, because as soon as you move said player, he has to respond to that same environment. All I got to let you know is Sam Darnold, you can blame the Jets, but when you out there winning less than Gardner Minshew, Kyle Allen, and Drew Lock, you really gonna just think that he's just gonna come and greener pastures is all he needs? Tom Brady's won the most Super Bowls, not by physical performance exclusively. Intangibles, we'll see. Patrick Mahomes was all smiles after getting some O-line protection. We'll tell you if he should like the Chiefs offseason moves so far. That's next on Speak for Yourself. So you would make the trade. Wow. Chiefs made a big move yesterday to protect Patrick Mahomes. KC agreed to a reported 5-year deal worth $80 million with offensive lineman Joe Thuney. Mahomes was under heavy pressure during the Chiefs' playoff run last season. Former MVP clearly approved of the move, tweeting out several smiley faces. So, Acho, should Patrick Mahomes feel good about the Chiefs offseason?
He shouldn't feel good about it because the problem is they got dismantled by the Buccaneers.
Yes.
And the Buccaneers have not gotten worse.
No.
So unless the Chiefs have gotten significantly better, then I'm still feeling like I'm playing second fiddle or like I'm in second place. Patrick Mahomes, they're still one of the best teams in the NFL. I think they're still by far and away the best team in the AFC because I look around, I don't think the Bills are going to overtake them yet. Don't think the Ravens will overtake them yet. Don't think the Browns will overtake them yet. Chargers made some great offseason acquisitions thus far, but don't think they will overtake them yet. So in the AFC, I think the Chiefs are still big chillin'. I respect that. But when you look across the field, when you look across the conference, and you see the team that knocked you off, and it's like, oh, but at least we won't have to deal with Shaq Barrett next year because he's a free agent. Wait, he back?
Damn.
Man, at least they're not going to have Chris Godwin next year because he a free agent. Wait, they tagged him? We know him like, well, Gronk will probably retire again. He has 4 Super Bowl rings now, and he really contributed to this one. So now he has a legit 3. Yeah. Wait, he back too? Only $8 million? It's like, man, you can't feel good about what you're doing in your city, in your house, watering your grass, because their lawn was greater than yours, and it has not been diminished at all yet. So, Patrick Mahomes can't feel great about it.
Man, say that again. I wouldn't feel great about it. I'd be like, all right, that's a start. Cool. It wouldn't have got me to get on Twitter and smiley face up. Like, I wouldn't just went there because we have moves to make. So this is a problem. If you look at their offensive line, how it's being restructured and reshuffled, they've lost 3 starters and they've only gotten 1 back. So, I mean, next man up is a philosophy, but that's not enough for me to tell the world we big chilling out here in terms of protection. But their greater issue is the fact that they look at their situation and they don't know what to focus on. I keep saying this about this Chiefs team, man. They're going to be their worst enemy because they think it's all up front. Once we show up front, we're good. I don't know so much about that. Let's talk about the other side of the ball first and foremost. In the last 5 years, they have not had a top 15 defense. That will catch up to you. Why? Because last year, they had the worst red zone defense in the entire NFL. Too many easy points for other teams. So you're talking about the Chargers, they're not going to catch them. Chargers took them to overtime in Justin Herbert's first game, and that's with Patrick Mahomes, like, coming off of a Super Bowl championship. I'm not saying that the Chargers are there, but some team is going to show up and poke their head and say, yoo-hoo, you guys keep focusing on the wrong things, and you got slammed by the Tampa Bay Bucs because they came with a mindset that we'll take what you give us. We'll do the simple things, and we'll just continuously
take advantage of your weaknesses. Right now, I see the Chiefs with too many weaknesses.
The other thing is, let's talk about it. In basketball, they always try to say, at least at an early age, turn your weaknesses into your strengths.
Yes.
When you're learning how to play, if it's AAU, when you're learning how to play, even if it's within your own high school, middle school, etc., you ain't got a left hand. Work so much on your left hand that your left hand could, in theory, become your dominant hand.
Yes.
So what were the Chiefs' weaknesses in the Super Bowl? Their weaknesses in the Super Bowl were their tackles. Both their tackles. You got your left tackle, Eric Fisher, Achilles, he gone. Your right tackle, Schwartz, he was hurt all season, so he's not there. But then you released them both. So now the biggest weakness is you haven't improved on. Yeah, you have a third-round pick from last year who might materialize, but he might not. As long as the Chiefs do not address their weaknesses, Patrick Mahomes, you got nothing to feel good about.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on out there in Kansas City? Did they drink all the Kool-Aid? Like, it's just save some Kool-Aid for when you could go back-to-back. And it doesn't favor well for teams to go to 3 straight Super Bowls. You got to go way back to the Patriots, 2016. How did they do it? Simple, simple, simple. Not explosive, explosive, explosive. Let's go back to the Bills of my days. That's a yesteryear situation. Bad math out there in Kansas City. Oh, we're going to lose 3, get 1. But, you know, Texas State, you know what I'm saying? That's how y'all teach them out there when y'all mad.
You talking about Mahomes?
I'm talking about you, too.
He went to Texas Tech.
Is that a school?
I went to University of Texas.
Yeah, both of y'all
I'm
in
not going to
Texas.
sit here and compare University of Texas to Texas Tech.
Which one's better?
Texas.
The NFL offseason has already been crazy in terms of math.
What's wrong with him?
You told me excuse me, I got under your skin. We'll tell you which team is the biggest winner so far in free agency. That's next. Speak for yourself. It says Tech in it. It's not a better school.
A number of teams have not been shy about spending their cash so far this offseason. The Bucs are bringing back key free agents, including Shaq Barrett, while the Patriots have completely taken up their roster by bringing in several new players. So, Marcellus, real quick, who's the biggest winner so far in free agency?
It's the New England Patriots because their free agents will have the greatest impact. I wanted to go Tampa Bay, but they're the Super Bowl champions, so all they're trying to do is repeat their success. The Patriots are trying to improve on a 7-9 record and losing 4 close games. So if you look at all their additions, it's to address how they want to play complementary football. Run the football, even at the quarterback position, beat them up front, play some strong defense, and do it the Belichick way. It's the Patriots.
I respect that. I'm going to go with an individual. How about Kendrick Bourne? Again, I don't like being in other people's pockets because I don't like when people in my pockets. But, yeah, 1,700 receiving yards in his 4-year career, and my dog got a $22.5 million contract? Like, what is that's $100 per yard, $150 a yard? Like, again,
They're going to Texas.
Look, I ain't going to be in his pockets. All I'm going to say is this. I'm trying to be in his phone book because whoever his agent is, Sal, that's why I need his representation.
Sound like y'all got the same agent, Mr. Bachelor. Don't act like you just over here moonlighting, boy, making that money. That's it for us. Fox Bet Live next.